When an XRechnung file is rejected, the first question is usually simple. Where is the actual problem? The file may open correctly. It may look like normal XML. And still, it can be invalid for a customer, an accounting process, or an invoice portal. In this video, I will show you step by step how to validate an XRechnung file, which validation layers matter, and how to read the result in E-Invoice Check. The first point is important. Validating an XRechnung does not mean just opening the XML file. A useful validation checks several layers. First, is the XML file technically readable and safe? Second, does the structure match the expected UBL or CII schema? Third, does the invoice satisfy the EN 16931 business rules, such as required fields, totals, tax logic, and codes? And fourth, if the file is an XRechnung, does it also satisfy the German XRechnung requirements? This distinction matters in practice. Not every issue is fixed by the same person. Sometimes the problem is master data. Sometimes it is the ERP export. Sometimes it is tax logic. And sometimes it is the selected invoice format or profile. Now let us look at the process in E-Invoice Check. We open the website and start the validation. You can upload an XML file or a ZUGFI RD or FactorX PDF with embedded XML. For this example, we use an XRechnung file. After upload, the file is processed. The system detects the format and validates the file against the relevant layers. On the result page, you first see whether the invoice is valid or whether errors were found. If a file is invalid, the word invalid is not enough. The useful question is why it is invalid. That is why the report shows the affected validation layer, the triggered rule, and a readable explanation. This makes it easier to understand whether accounting, the supplier, master data maintenance, or the software vendor should act. A common example is a totals error. The XML file may be technically well-formed, but line totals, net amount, tax amount, or invoice total do not match mathematically. Another common example is missing required information. A field may appear in a visible PDF invoice, but still be missing in the structured XML layer. For validation, the machine-readable invoice data is what matters. If the invoice contains errors, the cause should usually be fixed in the ERP or accounting system. Manually editing the XML file is rarely the best approach because it can create new errors and makes the process harder to trace. After correction, the newly exported file should be validated again. Only when no blocking errors remain is the invoice technically better prepared for sending, booking, or clarification. E-Invoice Check does not replace a legal, tax, or accounting decision, but it helps make the technical validation understandable. Which file was detected, which rules were checked, which errors were found, and what the next practical step should be. If you need to validate an XRechnung file, you can upload it directly on the E-Invoice Check website. Single file validation is free, and the report helps you clarify errors more clearly with customers, suppliers, or software vendors.